I agree, yes. Now, one of the other key indicators that you want to be tracking is, who can tell me what this stands for? It is your average, that's right, client spend. And this, again, you can calculate this for your business and for individual team members. Now, when you start tracking and measuring for individual team members, it also is, it's your way of understanding which team members are doing really well, which team members could do with a bit of support, and which team members are just, oh gosh, what are we going to do with them? Okay, so that's why you want to calculate the whole business and you want to calculate the individual. So the average client spend, if you turn to page 17 in the Salon Whisperer, you've got the calculation there. So you calculate that by the gross amount that you take for the week. So say it's 6.5, and you divide that by how many clients you've seen in that week. What have we got in the example here? So let's say you saw 100 clients in the week. So the average client spend would be, that's an easy one, $65. Okay, now that's not too bad, but it depends what sort of business you are. If you're a high-end skin clinic, oh, that's sad, that's terrible. You want to be looking somewhere 350 and keep going, or it might be 250 and keep going. So there's horses for courses. So don't sit there going, oh my God, you know, our average client spend is $40. It depends what you do. It all depends on how many days are you operating, how many hours are you operating, what are your overheads. Your break even might be $1,500 a week. So, you know, it needs to be calculated. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, that's the sort of thing that we dig in and we look at together and we establish, okay, let's look at all these KPIs and let's look for all those places where we can dial it up. Okay, so we might be able to dial up the rebooking percentage. We might be able to dial up the retailing. All of those KPIs mean that you will make more money at the end of the day. So the average client spend, why is it important? Because if you can increase your average client spend, let's say, again, you just increase it by $20. And say you do that incrementally. Like you should be setting goals, your KPIs that you're tracking. You need to set goals with your team. Now you can set them on a monthly basis, a daily basis, a weekly and an annually basis, or even quarterly for that matter. Because what you want to do is you want to give your team members something to aim for, something to strive for and achieve so that they can improve themselves. So let's say we've got Sally, and Sally's average client spend is $65, and we've given Sally the goal to aim for the month, and it doesn't have to be a huge leap. You could even say to Sally, let's see if you can achieve $70 average client spend for the month. Now, do you know what Sally's mind's going to do? It's going to go tick, tick, $5. Gee, I think I could do that. But if you said to Sally, I want your average client spend to go from $65 to $100, what do you think Sally's going to do? She's going to go, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, she's going to be stressed. She's going to be very conscious of how she's dealing with her clients. The wheels are going to fall off. In other words, You cannot put unrealistic expectations on your team. I don't care about these other, people out there saying, well, they've got to do 4 times, they've got to do 5 times, 6 times their wage. Sure, eventually, not overnight, okay? You cannot take your staff member on a 65 average client spend on a jump to 100 in a month. Okay, they're probably going to just fall over in a panic. All right, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your business will not change in a day or a week or a month. It's more than likely, if you're at Struggle Street now, you can't just turn the corner and all of a sudden you're in, hello, we're doing break even and we're making all this money. Reality check, it's just not going to happen. But if you put in the effort and you start from point A and work to point B, point C, point D, do you get it? It's like following your GPS. You don't start here at point A and say, right, I want to get over to there, and you just sit back and it's on autopilot and you get there. No, you've got to drive there, and you've got to traverse, traffic lights and other stupid drivers on the road and all sorts of things, potholes, whatever. There's going to be things that can go wrong along the way. Crazy analogy, but you get my drift. You can't just go from crappy to amazing overnight. It won't happen. Okay, so give your team small increments to aim for, and they're more likely to achieve it. And when you can establish what it is that motivates them, and again, inside the membership, the Solutions membership, you get the whole Staffing 101. Why is that important? Because you can then, with your team, establish the business values, your team's values, and you can establish what is your team's love language, which means what is it that makes them tick? What is it that they would be really happy to receive as a reward for a small incremental increase? It could be that you shout them a cup of coffee. It could be that you give them a hug and a pat on the back. It could be that you say, oh my gosh, everybody, round of applause for Helen, she's done da-da-da. But if you don't know, then you can't possibly do things the right way. So, average client spend. You can increase it, and it comes down to a lot of the things that we've already touched on. You must know your products. You must know what products and services you can use to increase an average client visit. So if we go back to the example of the eyebrow wax client who comes in for $20. And as we said before, we were going to add on a tint of $9. Now, you could also offer that eyebrow client an eyelash tint. Quite often, we used to always have clients that were more than happy to do that as a combined. So we usually had a price for that, I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's say it was around $45 for, that's an eyebrow wax, eyebrow tint, and an eyelash tint. Now, while the eyelash tint was on, what are you doing with that client? We used to give our clients a beautiful hand and half arm massage while that was on. Now, what you can be doing is also talking to the clients about the fact that you offer massage, if that's what you do. You can take that opportunity to talk to your client about the lotion that you're actually massaging their hand with. It might have a beautiful aroma. You might sell something like, I won't use brand names, but it could have something that has that amazing aroma and people go, oh, that smells divine, something like mango and coconut or something. And so you can say, well, actually, we retail this cream, and when you use this, it actually helps with, dry skin. And so when you're coming to have your waxing, you don't suffer as many ingrown hairs, blah, 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 blah. you know, whatever it is, but all of a sudden that lady might walk out with some of that beautiful body lotion that you've just been rubbing into her arm, and the average client spend for that client doubled pretty much. And that's a simple way of doing it. It's to, like, the simplest way is a facial client. You know, they're coming in for their facials, so that's $150. What can you add on? Yes, you can add on a booster serum for $25. You might add on LED for $50. Already we're up to $75 add-on. And then of course you've got your retail on top of that. You know, there are ways to very easily increase your average client spend, which will get you to your BEP.